Back-to-back on the road against two really, really good teams. Obviously this team is still a work in progress. Our starters have played 3 games together, so in their careers. So just continuing to understand, where these games have been placed in the schedule of, being able to see where strengths and weaknesses lie. I mean, the positive, we were able to shore up some of our rebounding tonight, but everything else was a credit to, UConn's defense, the turnovers they were able to force, 27 points. We've got to find, some additional players to be able to help us score the basketball, but again, that was dictated by how hard they defended us. Saw some spurts, obviously, in the first half. In the first 2 quarters, but then Paige did what all Americans do. She put the team on her back and made play after play. That was really, really hurt us. So film will keep us humble and hungry, and we'll be able to go back and get ready. Obviously, nothing's won in November. It's getting prepared for us for conference play and beyond.
We'll take questions here in the room. Go ahead, Kareem.
Hey, Shy. We were talking the other day, you said, you were frustrated with kind of the unforced errors from the last game, mistakes that you guys could control. All the turnovers today, did that feel more like self-inflicted, or was UConn doing something that kind of threw you guys out of whack?
I don't think they were doing anything that threw us out of whack. They were just aggressive. I just can't have 8 turnovers for my team.
Okay.
For either of the players, for you guys to kind of take away some maybe positives or things to work on from the last 2 losses on the road, or last 2 losses, what do you feel like, are there any commonalities, or is it kind of different things from each game that you feel like you can work on?
Every game is a lesson, and I feel like this was just another lesson. It's still early, and I feel like we have time to get it right. It's still early, and I feel like we just need to work on our defense, rebounding and just, scoring the basketball. But it's early, it's a good lesson. That's all I can say.
How is this process kind of coming along, just getting used to everybody, getting used to each other? Brenda just said, you guys starters haven't played a whole lot of games. How's that process coming along, and is there any way to get that kind of speed up that process?
I think it's going pretty well, I would say, but being in an atmosphere like this, playing with each other, you got to get used to it. You got to get used to each other. You got to start trusting each other. I wouldn't say this is the same Maryland team you're going to see at March, but we just got a lot to work on.
Coach, I'm wondering if you, I'm sure you saw film of their game at NC State. I'm wondering what you saw tonight that maybe they didn't do in that game. If you saw a certain tenacity, or you mentioned how hard they played on defense. I just wondering what you saw tonight as compared to that.
Yeah, obviously I thought they guarded even harder, in this game. They were, made every, pass. You saw how many deflections to steals that they had, 16 steals, forced us into 27 turnovers. So I thought their defensive intensity was far greater coming back home to a tremendous environment.
Any other questions for the players here in the room, and then I'll let them go? No? Okay, ladies, thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Coach?
Brenda, was there anything that you felt, like you said, a lot of deflections? Did they feel like they were just jumping in the passing lanes and stopping? Because you guys like to move the ball side to side, and it never seemed like that got going at all tonight.
Yeah, it was a rough night at the office. We tried to, get the ball to move side to side to, relieve some of that pressure. We wanted us, to be able to backdoor cut and slip, and but credit again. I just thought they dictated the entire 40 minutes.
Brenda, you and Gina always schedule tough non-conference for the idea of getting ready for March, but how do you balance that with keeping these kids' confidence up after 2 games like
this? I mean, ideally I wouldn't have loved to have done these back-to-back. I definitely would love to have spaced them out, especially to give a lineup like this time to grow and develop. But there's, it's a balance where you're trying to bring your freshmen along, and you're also trying to bring some vets that haven't had to shoulder the load that they're being asked to in top 10 competitions. So, our job is, just to continue to help them, keep their confidence and then grow from it.
Where the last 2 games with Shy in particular, where do you hope she can kind of learn from these experiences and emerge into that leader that you kind of hope?
Yeah, she's still, just a junior. I mean, obviously she's, with those responsibilities, she's got to value the basketball. I mean, the last 2 games have been very uncharacteristic of her from an assist to turnover ratio as your top guard, top point guard. So, all areas that are going to make her better as we continue to go into really tough environments, as well as her kind of being marked with a lot of that, physicality. We're asking her to do a lot. She's got to handle it. She's got to score for us. And she's learning how hard you've got to play every single possession.
Over here on the left.
With your vets stepping into some newer roles, who for you stepped up today in some of the huddles when you guys were down and really needed a boost?
Yeah, our upperclassmen have always had a great voice. That didn't help us in the offensive end to score some points. So I think therein lies the issue for us is we've got to be able to, put points on the board. We've got to be able to also, defensively be able to guard. So rebounding's been an issue, so we took a step forward in that area. So you hope then, slowly but surely you'll be able to add, the defense as well as the offense.
Lav is one of those vets that I'm sure you're talking about. Is, moving forward, is there any way to kind of get her going in a more positive direction?
I thought she tried to be aggressive. She was trying to be a little bit more aggressive tonight. Just obviously offensively, trying to get some more points, from Lav. She's defending, she's rebounding, so she's a great scorer. So just these environments are really, really good for her. So hopefully that's the last piece for her that will come together. We need her offense. We need Nace. We need Faith. We need that starting lineup. Those 3 can't combine for 11 points and think you're going to beat a really good team.
Is that scheming up looks for her, or just kind of finding a groove?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, obviously the assist to turnover ratio, our chemistry isn't there. Typically for a Maryland team, you're going to see a positive assist to turnover ratio. So, that chemistry isn't quite gold.
One more in the room and then we'll go.
Coach, so between these 2 games between South Carolina and this, how do you think these games will prepare you for future competition like Iowa and Ohio State?
Yeah, I told them before the game, last game of the season for Big Ten conference play, we're going to Indiana. We shouldn't flinch when we go down there after we've been a part of these 2 environments. And Iowa coming in and the conference race is going to be incredible with all the ranked teams in Big Ten play. So all of these moments will help us as we move forward.
We have time for 1 or 2 quick questions on Zoom.
Okay, we'll go to Olivia. Hey, Coach. Just curious. Noticed you guys struggling on front of the basket tonight. Was there something specific you saw from UConn's defense, or was it just everything all over that just contributed to that?
Yeah, I mean their defense was sensational. They contested every shot. They pushed every catch out. They got a ton of deflections. They dug every dribble. They, were able to turn us over into 27 turnovers. So it absolutely, they dictated on the defensive end.
Last one.
Sam, go ahead.
Coach, when you look at, that's now 2 games in a row where at the end of the second quarter kind of was a turning point. How do you fix that, and how big do you think that was? Because you guys had a lead there at one point. I think it was up 3, and then, similar to the South Carolina game, just kind of fell apart.
Sam, if I knew how to fix it, it would have gotten fixed. We brought awareness to it. Obviously, to me, that's probably fatigue. We're not in the kind of shape yet to be able to withstand those runs. UConn clearly has a lot more depth and talent and experience on their roster than where we're at this point in the season. So I think they just wore us down, and credit goes to them.